for North Adelaide. Picking it up was Alan Stringer, and he's popped it through. He bounced that one through. Has the siren gone? Yes, it has. The siren is gone. The Bays have won back-to-back premierships for the first time. Graham Corns, the coach there. 20 goal, 21-9 Glenelg. North Adelaide 12-15. Peter Carey, who's led them in both premierships. Chris McDermott. A bit of blood there, but he wouldn't mind that. And Graham Corns. Well, sensational scenes last year, and I can tell you what, they're pretty happy out there as well. The North Adelaide players leaving the ground this grand final. They didn't last year. They did stay on the ground, in fact. But today they are leaving the ground and leaving it to the Bay players who've won 2 in a row. Well, Glenelg opened up brilliantly, booting 7-2 to 3-2 in the first quarter. One wondered whether North Adelaide were going against the breeze, perhaps to the non-scoring end, but they couldn't get back into it. At half-time, Glenelg were 12-4 to North 6-7. And they just powered on and on and on to a great victory. Corns is a happy man. And just listen to the crowd. Max Cruz, a happy man, coming over from the Sydney side. Graham, he'd be a delighted man.
Yes, no doubt his first premiership peak, because playing for the Swans or South Melbourne as they were all those years didn't produce anywhere near a pennant, and he'll be beside himself with excitement. It really is a marvellous performance, Pete, when you work it out. They were the underdogs by a long chalk, because they were handled comprehensively in the second semi by the self-same North Adelaide team that took the field today. Okay, they lost Andrew Jarman, but one player doesn't make a side. And, you know, it was, well, I suppose it's poor return for effort for North Adelaide. You must feel sorry in some respects, but you've got to put up on the day. If you don't win it.
And Graham, in Western Australia, Victoria and South Australia, the loser of the second semi-final has gone on to win the grand final.
It's remarkable, Peter, because that's not the way football evolves usually.
Right.
But you must admit, yes, it's happened in the 3 major footballing states, and so forth. There's been a trend set in 1986 that has never been set before, I'd say. I don't know, but, you know.
No, I think it's, well, you never know. I think it might have happened in Tasmania as well. But
right.
Are there any players out there for the Bays that you think may have played their last game?
Well, just off the cuff, Ross Gibbs, I think, in his own way, might make a decision to go back to Perth. But then again, the excitement of playing in back-to-back premierships might persuade him one more year.
Sure.
Make it 3 in a row. A hat-trick of premierships. You really can't say, Pete. I think there's more likelihood of North Adelaide players maybe stepping down from the breach. I think I heard your co-commentator Ian Day say that Michael Redden, or was it David Darcy? Michael Redden, because of the problems he's had coming down from Orroroo, is it?
Yeah, it's the Orroroo farmer.
It isn't easy.
Now we'll pass down to Max Bashir, the president of the SANFL, for the presentations in the 1986 grand final.
History of the South Australian National Football League. We've had a great season, and I'd like to thank the 10 league clubs for their wonderful participation in this season's activities. I would also like to pay a special tribute to the Woodville Football Club for their marvellous performances during the season. Before I proceed to make the presentations, I'd just like to say 1 or 2 words to you. Over the last few months, our league has been called upon to make some very important decisions for the future of our game. We have looked into those decisions very, very carefully, and I want you to be assured that our decision not to join the VFL in 1987 was not taken lightly. But at the same time, I want you to know that I have appreciated the complete support of the South Australian public in accepting the decision that we've taken. And I look forward to your support next year. to make today is for the Jack Oatey medalist, for the best player on the ground today, Tony Hall of Glenelg. Congratulations, Tony. Just say a few words.
I'd just like to say the boys behind me deserve it. It's been a great effort all throughout the year. They've worked bloody hard. We slaved all through November, December, January, and it's all been worth it. Thanks, all the fellas back here. They deserve it.
I'd like to pay tribute to the two teams which played today. The North Adelaide, you were, through the minor round, the best team, but unfortunately today Glenelg was superior, and you can only have one winner. However, all of the experts tipped North Adelaide to win today, and unfortunately it didn't happen. It is my very great pleasure to ask our very good friend, great player, great South Australian, Peter Carey, to come and accept the Thomas Seymour Hill Cup.
Well, it felt good last year. It feels even better this year. We've really had to work our butts off this year. It's been a lot harder than it was last year. Came to this game the rank outsider, and boy, it feels good to do it. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Graham Corn.
Thank you, Max. I don't really want to say a lot. There's 20 guys behind me who played such a great game today. There was a few people, a few of the critics that thought we couldn't do it this year because we were lacking a couple of personnel. But really only the players and myself know just how hard they worked for it. In the end, it is the hard work that paid off. They played a great game today, and I can only tell you that I am so proud of them. Thank you very much.
Deliriously happy Glenelg players there with the Premiership Cup on their lap of honour, and they're going up to the cheer squad, and some great signs around the oval, and a lot of very happy people out there, Graham, to see Glenelg with back-to-back premierships.
Yeah, I'd say the ground was half and half, Pete, half North, half Glenelg, where if Woodville had made it, would have been 95% Woodville.
You're quite right.
But, you know, it was a great performance, Peter. They were never off the boil today. Always in command, right from the word go. I thought maybe the wind in the first quarter could have been, you know, an assistance to them, but it wasn't to be. Into the breeze, they played, well, even better in the second quarter. They almost locked the game up at half-time. During the third quarter, I thought North Adelaide made a bit of a mini comeback, but it wasn't to be. They were just lacking in their normal flow of the ball today. I couldn't put my finger on what it was missing, but their backline wasn't as destructive as they normally are. People weren't manning up on the Peter Maynards and the Tony Simons of the Glenelg side early in the piece, and it spelled doom for them, Pete, quite frankly.
It certainly did. Well, there they go, the Glenelg players and the coach running around the outer side of the ground now on their victory lap. But stay with us. We're going to be right here till 5:30 when we'll go to Mount Panorama for the Hardy's Heroes. But stay with us right through till 5:30. We'll be talking to coaches, players, bring you all the locker room scenes. So stay with us. We'll be with it right up to 5:30. More after the break. Well, Glenelg have won back-to-back premierships, last year in 85 and this year in 1986. 12-15, North Adelaide, 21-9 the Bays, and the players and Graham Corns have just completed their lap of honour. And there are a couple of guys in there that I don't think have played in final sides before. I think Max Cruz and perhaps Kim Hodgman might be the
first premiership team, yeah. Plenty of finals, but no premierships till now. So Kim Hodgman will be delirious, Peter. And really, he's beside himself, I'd say. But it was a marvellous effort. And there's Stephen Copping. That's his second premiership in a row.
Certainly a great effort for Stephen Copping. If, in fact, what we heard during the week was true, and I think it probably was, just to get onto that field was fantastic.
A courageous performance, Peter. I mean, his courage has always been his forte, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
He knows how to go for the hard ball. And there's David Kernahan. He played a top game, Peter. He'd been my first 7 or 8. The Bays has so many good players, you know. I totally agree with the announcement of Tony Hall getting best on ground by the Scribes. I guess that's the Scribes that decide that one. 6 goals from centre-half forward is just a marvellous performance. Closely followed by Peter Maynard. I think his game was superb. And
his first half was fantastic.
Yeah, and he wasn't missing in the last half either. He kicked the goal, he thought, in the last quarter, which was a little bit humorous. Gave a touch of humour to the day. He reached for the skies, and Chris McDermott thought it was a goal also, because he lifted him up there like a Statue of Liberty to hit the post. And Peter was completely deflated for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, Tony Hall, of course, the Jack 80 medalist. That is a great honour to win that medal after one of Australia's greatest ever coaches. Tony Hall, 6 goals, outstanding.
And what about Tony Simons? Great.
Oh, he played so well, and you mentioned Maynard's first half in particular was
Chris Duthie was a top player all day. The last quarter he was just impassable. He was brilliant.
Well, we'll have a look at some of the highlights of this great game. There were plenty of them. The first goal of the match, would you believe, went to North Adelaide. Tony Antremis.
That's true. And at this stage, North seemed to have more of the play, and they were throwing the ball around better than Glenelg. They seemed to be, you know, a side that were going on with the job from the second semi. And it would take a very good judge to say that Glenelg were going to win by, what, 8 goals coming into the day at that stage, because it just seemed to be North all the way. And it just turned around. Peter Maynard, well, it was mentioned before, he was the man who set the thing rolling in the first half, Pete. All over the place he was, just everywhere.
I don't think I've seen a player...
unmarked?
Well, yeah, but you'd back him in. Kicking a goal on the run is really his forte, isn't it? He's just outstanding.
He is. Now, here's David Robertson. Well, I guess he had plenty of touches the first half, Pete. They weren't always the explosive sort of things that Robertson's used to doing. That was a top goal. That dragged them back within about 4 or 5 at that stage.
Well, the black mark you had to give him, though, was that his opponent was Maynard.
Right.
And, I mean, there are opponents in this game, but they didn't seem to be manning up at all, but Maynard hurt them a lot more than Robertson hurt Glenelg.
Sure. Oh, there's no comparison, Peter, quite frankly. He was out there playing his first game for a few weeks. He was excited about it and probably just lost touch with the bloke that he was on.
Well, this is how Peter Maynard played his game, and he was a light in the first quarter and in the second quarter. He kicked goal after goal, and they were all brilliant ones. And
he always seemed to be loose. He just is a remarkable exponent of what you might call the will-o'-the-wisp type football. That was a classic goal. Yes. He got buried as soon as he kicked that, and but that was a team-crushing goal. When I say team-crushing, the opposition were crushed by that. They just got within, say, 4 goals of Glenelg with a silly chance of coming in 3 down. Peter Maynard reacted, kicked the goal over his head virtually, and that was Glenelg's 6th goal.
Maynard again, and
they're going to the other end now, Pete. The other end of the ground, and Kim Hodgman fed it out to Peter, a left foot snap which floated and kept going and going, and they are very difficult goals to kick.
Well, it's the Maynard specialty, left or right footer. He can certainly kick them, but Tony Hall was probably their best forward, and after watching that in the first half you'd probably think it was Maynard, but Tony Hall was an outstanding player, and by the way, as you probably saw, he is the Jack Aitey medalist for 1986. And Ian Day is down in the locker room with a pretty happy, I would guess, coach of the Glenelg side, Graham Corns.
Congratulations, Studley. Back-to-back premierships. You must be unbelievably happy.
Well, it's a terrific feeling, Ian. I mean, last year was good, but there were a few doubting Thomases last year who thought we couldn't do it without a couple of key players, and they were good players for us. But this year, the boys have really had to work for it, and today just saw the fruition of all their efforts.
That first quarter, Studley, have the Bays played as well in a quarter as they did in that first quarter? Particularly since the grand final.
No, I thought the start of the second quarter for the first 10 minutes there, about 7 minutes of footy in the start of the second quarter was just phenomenal.
And what about Tony Hall, Peter Carey?
Peter Carey, sensational. Last 2/3 of the season been fantastic. Tony Hall, he was always going to have an advantage today if he got on top early, because their back line is not overly big, and we had enough big players up there to prevent them from using a true centre-half back on him. So yeah, that was one work that he played so well.
You appeared to have the North Adelaide defence running around in circles. Were you using any particular plan, or was it just the looseness coming from upfield that made them out of position?
No, we wanted players around the fall of the ball. That's what we worked for, players around the fall of the ball, and it happened.
Congratulations, Studley. You've got a big night coming up. Well done. What's that? Four final series in 4 years as coach. You're famous. Congratulations.
Beat that.
Well done.
Yeah.
Tony Simons, how do you feel about it?
Good, Ian. Unbelievable. It's fantastic.
What are you going to do tonight now, mate? Now, tell me honestly.
I'll be getting on this stuff tonight. There's nothing more certain than a Glenelg victory.
When did you think you were going to win it honestly now?
I thought when we got up in the middle of the second quarter, we were playing good footy, and we don't get big-headed about a footy. We just do the right things, and I knew they wouldn't get back into it.
Tony, when you got that pass from Maynard going through centre-half forward on the fly, you were flat out. You must have dreamed about passes like that.
It's just great. Actually, Peter gave me 2 out of 3, so he really looked after me today. It was fantastic.
He played a great game, Tony Hall.
Did. Yeah, Hawley, fantastic. Everyone really put in when we had to put in.
Tell me, the Bays got out of the blocks in a flash. What made you so G'd up and going so well?
Well, we had a very quiet build-up during the week. We didn't worry about everything that was going on around the place. We just settled down, knew what we had to do, and went about our job and did it.
Congratulations, a great performance.
Thanks,
have a big night, mate.
Hey, I will.
David Darcy.
We can't find David yet. He's probably been trampled in the stampede, but yeah, they're pretty happy down there, and as well they might be. They played a wonderful game, and we were just chatting a little while ago, and we might get on to it a little bit later, but we'll just touch on it now. Where did North go, having been beaten by Glenelg in the last 3 grand finals, but more particularly in the last 2?
Well, they spoke about the golfer having a monkey on his back. I think North have got the Glenelg monkey on their back, Pete, in grand finals. It just doesn't happen for them. For whatever reason, the ball won't run, and players aren't in position to take what you might call effective hand passes, and the familiarity they breed between their backline players was missing. They weren't finding each other, and they're so good at that. All of a sudden today, they were just missing. So what the answer is, dashed if I know, and of course Mick Noonan won't know.
Well, we've found David Darcy. In fact, he's down there with Ross Gibbs.
Julie. Russ, congratulations. And Julie Gibbs, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Is that your first grand final?
No, we won it last year. We become legends today, so it was a huge effort by the boys. We were the underdog, and we took it nice and easy, and it showed at the end, and it's a huge effort. It's bigger than last year, I can tell you.
The first quarter set it up for you. It was a magnificent first quarter.
Yeah, well, it was one of those unbelievable things. I think you know, we surprised ourselves the way we played in that first quarter. We were expecting North to hit us with everything because they've had the week's break. But of course, we got the first break. We had a bit of luck on our side, and we just took over. It was fantastic.
Ross, I just want to talk about one little part of the game. Julie, you probably saw it too. There was a ball throwing incident. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I cut one early, but by a player, but it's just one of those things, and I sort of got a bit upset for a change, and just sort of throw the ball at him, but that was one of those things. I was disciplined for it. I got taken off, so I knew what I'd done wrong, but anyway, who cares? It doesn't matter now.
Congratulations, magnificent effort. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Oh, that's a bit upsetting. It's just offsided our nickname of him. He used to be Mr. Cool.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to think of another name for him now.
He lost his cool. Oh, I can't believe that.
But
Peter, congratulations, you old man of football, and you've done it again.
Oh, yeah, it was a fantastic effort. You know, I'm just so proud of the boys. They've worked really hard this year. I think we've had to work a lot harder this year than we did last year, and to come up trumps in this game after being the rank outsiders, you know, I'm just so proud of them. It was fantastic.
Peter, you must be so pleased with your own performance. You must be on the yippee beans or something.
Oh, yeah, I haven't got many games left. I've got to make the most of it, mate, I tell you.
Well, now, what about next year? Obviously, you've got to go for 3 in the row. We got the cup here.
Yeah, I'll be fronting up next year, and boy, we'll be giving it our best shot. And it's a long way away yet, but we'll be giving it a whirl.
Super, congratulations, a magnificent performance, and the Bays are going to have a big night tonight. Well done, Peter Carey and the Bays. Back now to Peter Marker.
well, I tell you what, the Glenelg Football Club and Graham Corns and all the players owe a lot to that man. He's been truly outstanding. In fact, Graham, you recognise his great leadership qualities when you appointed him as captain.
That's right. Look, no guy deserves success more than Peter Carey. He's got a heart as big as himself. He's a man that got a complete humility. He'll do whatever you say, you know, and he buries himself for the sake of the club. And I just feel great for Peter Carey.
Have you ever seen him play better than he has in the last, say, 2 or 3 months?
It's hard to put a finger on, Pete. I can't think offhand. No, he's at his peak. Isn't that silly? The man.
That's amazing.
In the twilight of his career, 400 odd games.
50.
He could.
He's been a great player, and congratulations, Glenelg.